Today's topic in my 5 recovery tips project is combating ED number obsession. So this was a big thing for me, and I basically wanted to summarise the main things that helped me overcome it. So, number 1, make a pact with yourself not to look at the nutritional information, calories on things, and if you do, pick the higher option. Teach your brain through your actions that the smallest number isn't important to you anymore. So if you go to the shops and you're thinking, oh, I don't know if I want that sandwich or that sandwich, if you find yourself looking at the numbers, which many of us do because it's something that's often so ingrained that you've almost clocked what the number is before you've even had a chance to imagine doing anything else, what you do in that situation is you pick the higher one. So you're teaching your brain that studying the numbers doesn't mean anything in terms of restriction, because when you study the numbers, you pick the bigger one anyway. That's something that made a big difference for me. Number 2, bin your scales, all of them. And whilst you're at it, all of the other measuring utensils and measuring equipment that you use for any disordered purposes at all. You do not need to weigh yourself or your food. You don't need to measure it, portion it, control it. Go cold turkey on that. It's hard, yes, but for me, the only thing that worked was when I stopped all of it. And it felt so weird for like a day. And it was incredible that then the next day I was like, yeah, no, I don't want to do that. I don't want to weigh out my cereal. No, that seems odd. It was something that I did religiously for so long. And then it felt awful. That first day where I poured out the cereal, just free poured it into the bowl and I ate it, and it was awful. It was hard, really hard. But honestly, the speed at which that had a positive influence on me and the way I thought about food was incredible. So my advice would be, it's crap, but go cold turkey. You don't need to weigh yourself. If you're going to the doctors and things like that, you can absolutely request blind weigh-ins. If that's something that you are having to have done at the moment, request them to be blind. You're completely entitled to that. And then, when it comes to food and things, you don't need, your body is a genius. Like, we have been living and surviving for hundreds of thousands of years without weighing and measuring what we should eat. You don't need to do that. It's disordered, and the only way to get over that compulsion is to stop it. And for me, that meant stopping everything immediately. I just had to ditch all of it. Anyway, I'm trying not to talk too much because I tend to do that. Number 3, okay, so this is something that helped me a lot, was getting stickers and putting them over nutritional information on packaging. So if you have someone that you can consider sort of a recovery buddy, so someone that you live with who is fully in support and understands the situation that you feel you can ask to do this, it's brilliant. So I would just get a pack of stickers and I would just put them over, or I'd use a permanent marker pen and scribble it all out. Because like I said on that first one, sometimes when you have been studying numbers so intensely for so long, when they've been such a big part of your life in terms of how you relate to food, it's almost impossible that every time you get something from the cupboard, you just clock it straight away. In packaging, it's a main feature often in a lot of food packaging. You just clock it, and it can impact it immediately the moment you see that number. So something that I then found helpful was actually just stop that from being a thing by covering it. Like, teach your brain that the numbers aren't important by not allowing your brain to see the numbers, and it feels weird at first because it's almost like you're looking for it, but actually you have to commit to the fact that they aren't important, and covering them, binning packaging that's got it on it, or putting a sticker over it like I often did, or like scribbling it out with a permanent marker, can really help you get past that stage. And now I don't need to do that now because I don't give a crap about calories or numbers or nutritional things or whatever. I don't care. And actually it can be there and it has no impact on what I then choose to eat. So it has no impact. So I don't need to continue doing that for the rest of your life. It's not forever, but in those early stages, and for quite a while in my recovery, I absolutely found that to be really, really helpful. I have actually for a while as well thought about how cool it would be to do stickers that I design that have like, I don't know, fuck the ED, or I don't know, I haven't thought about it in much detail, but I have thought it'd be quite a cool concept to have like little positive affirmation stickers that you can just stick straight over those like numbers and think, right, yeah, screw them. Anyway, number 4, I've already mentioned that. Ask for blind weigh-ins at medical appointments. Yeah, I mean, this is something that was really important to me, that actually I struggled at first when I was having to go to the doctors and they weigh you every time, and it was a big... I don't know if that cut me out then, but my mum tried to call me. I will call her back in a second. I'll just finish this. I've lost my train of thought. Blind weighing. So yeah, when you're having to go to the doctors and they're weighing you, and I really struggled with the fact that you were seeing the weight gain every time you went, and it was a thing. And I actually found that very quickly I said, you know what, actually I don't want to know that information, because it means that I struggle. I come away from this and I just, it makes the ED voice in my head much louder, and I just get loads and loads of shit, and I don't want that. So I asked them to be blind weigh-ins, and my doctor said, yeah, absolutely no problem whatsoever. That was done. And then, yeah, it had immediately, I felt so much better. Like, go to the appointment, and then she was doing what she needed to do and keeping an eye on things, and I could come away and not feel like it had any negative impact on my mindset or anything. So yeah, I think that's something that it really helped me in those early bits where it felt difficult after doctor appointments and things like that when they were doing that. So I'm blabbering. Anyway, number 5. Okay, this is a good one as well. I keep saying that. I wrote these. They're my top tips. I don't know why I keep being surprised when I read them. Like, oh, yeah, that's a good tip. So, yeah, go to restaurants and cafes that don't provide any nutritional information anywhere. So not on their menu, in the restaurant, not online, nowhere. Give yourself no choice but to pick totally irrespective of the numbers. So this was massive for me. Lots and lots of restaurant chains now have nutritional information online. It was something that when I was suffering, I would just trawl through randomly and study them. If I knew that we were going somewhere, like with a group of friends weeks before, that's me. That would be my social activity for the evening. Oh my God. And, I think I've just tilted the camera. Yeah, I'd just sit there and figure it out in my head, and then it would just, oh God, what an awful cycle to be trapped in. And I found that when I entered into recovery, it was really hard not to do that. So like if I was going, often I'd be fine going. So if we were out and mum was like, oh, let's go to Zizi's, so I'd go. But then I'd know that it was online, and it was hard not to then give in and look online. And I found that something that really helped me in this process was actually sort of forcing myself to not be able to. So I would choose to go to cafes and pubs. There are loads of places, often anything that isn't a big chain. You can't find that information. It's not there. There is nothing. And a little bit like where I was saying about covering the numbers, it's the same kind of concept. In those early stages where it's almost impossible not to end up looking online, you know, where somehow you end up looking at a bloody menu online and you're like, why am I doing this? When it's like that, when those things are so ingrained that they are overwhelming, actually going to a place where there isn't any information is really, really helpful, because it means that you go, and even if you get the desire to look, there isn't anything. You can't find anything, that's it. And actually, those early stages, doing that and repeating that over and over again, your brain learns, oh, we eat out in cafes and restaurants, we don't give a shit about what the numbers are. And then you'll find, like I have, now I can eat anywhere and it doesn't matter. I would never even contemplate looking at the numbers online, on a menu or anything. Like, I don't give a shit. If I want to eat that burger, I'll have that burger. Whatever. I've done it again. We have 5 seconds to sign off. Yeah, okay. Take care. Bye.